Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn one new chapter. Yesterday we have learned about the solar and the lunar eclipse, right? We have learned it. And today we are going to learn about the major temperature zones of the earth. Okay? Major temperature zones of the earth. We are going to read this chapter, okay? What we are going to learn here, now see, we are going to learn about the torrid zone, temperate zone and the frigid zone. Warm up. Let us read this, what it is written. You must have read about the climate in various parts of the world. Why do you think England is colder than India? When both the countries are on the same earth, why do they have different climates? Discuss in class. The sun is the only source of heat on the earth. The rays of the sun fall directly on the regions near the equator. This makes these regions very hot. The regions away from the equator receive slanting rays of the sun, which provide less heat. This makes these regions less hot than regions that receive direct rays of sun. As we move away from the equator, the heat provided by rays keeps on reducing. Hence, the areas closer to the poles are the coldest. Based on the based on the amount of heat received from the sun, the earth is divided into three temperature zones. What are those? Number one, the torrid zone. Number two, the temperate zone. Number three, the frigid zones. Now, children, you need to practice this at home. You need to draw this, okay? Because this might come into your examination. For the preparation of your test, you can just practice this at home. Now, what you are going to draw this practice session is the temperature zones of the earth. So, you need to draw this and just label it. At home you need to practice this, okay? Torrid zone, the region between the two tropics, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, is known as the torrid zone. The equator passes through the center of this zone. Now see here, torrid zone, equator. See, this is the equator passes through the center of this zone. This zone receives direct sun rays, making it the hottest of all three zones. This region is also known as tropical zone. Now let us move on to the next page about the climate we are going to learn here, okay? Let us read together. The areas in this zone remain hot throughout the year and experience wet and dry seasons. There is no distinct winter season in this region. Some of the hottest places on the earth can be found in this zone. The rainfall in most of the places here is very heavy, which promotes lush vegetation growth. However, there are also places in this zone which remain dry most part of the year. Now let us move on to the vegetation and wildlife. The torrid or tropical zone has a variety of plants and animals. The vegetation of this zone includes evergreen forest, deciduous forest, grasslands and thorn forest. Amazon rainforest and Sahara desert are located in this zone. Due to the warm climate, different types of animals, birds, fish and insects are found here. Temperate zone, the regions between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere form the temperate zone. These are known as North temperate zone and the south temperate zone respectively. Now here you can see the picture. This is the picture of the rainforest of Brazil, the green anaconda of the Amazon forest. Now can you see the anaconda over here? Yeah. And here you see the fact corner. One of the hottest places in the world is Danakil Depression in Ethiopia. The average temperature throughout the year is 34.4 degree Celsius. Now this one is also a fact corner. You need to read this also and you need to remember also. Memorize this. The Amazon rainforest is the largest in the world. It is estimated to have 16,000 species of trees. Nearly 2/3 of this rainforest lie in Brazil. Now let us move on to the climate. These regions receive slanting rays of the sun and hence the climate is neither too hot nor too cold. These regions receive less rainfall as compared to the torrid zone. Now children, let us move on to the next page. Now here comes the next page. However, some regions are wetter. Most places in the temperate zone experience 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter. Unlike in the torrid zone, the temperature can vary greatly between summer and winter. Vegetation and wildlife. The vegetation of the temperate zone varies according to the temperature and rainfall of an area. Some areas like the prairies and the steppes have only grass. The other areas are home to coniferous forest. It also has deserts like the Gobi Desert, which is extremely dry. Many animals and birds are found in this region. Now see the picture over here and the Gobi Desert also, Mongolia. Now frigid zone. There are 2 frigid zones on the earth. The frigid zone in the northern hemisphere lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole. The frigid zone in the southern hemisphere lies between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole. Climate. Frigid zones are very far away from the equator. They receive extremely slanting rays of the sun that provide very less heat. Thus, the climate here remains extremely cold throughout the year. The areas in these zones are covered with thick sheets of ice throughout the year and experience 6 months of day and night each. Antarctica lies in the southern frigid zone and it is the coldest place in the world. It is the coldest continent and is also known as the frozen continent. Now let us move on to the next page. Again we are going to read this: vegetation and wildlife. There is hardly any vegetation in the poles except when the ice melts a little during summer months. Some shrubs, grasses and mosses grow here. This type of vegetation is called tundra. Both sea and land mammals such as polar bears, penguins, seals and whales, walruses and Arctic fox are found in this zone. Since it is impossible to grow crops here, people hunt animals for food and living. Now polar bears, we see it in Canada. See, this is a picture of Canada polar bears. Norway, tundra. With the help of an atlas, identify and list 2 countries each that lie in the torrid temperature and frigid zones. So we have learnt this chapter. Now I know what we have learnt here. In a nutshell, it is given here. The earth is divided into 3 major temperature zones: torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. The region between the 2 tropics, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, is known as the torrid zone. The areas in torrid zone remain hot throughout the year and experience wet and dry seasons. the regions between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, and between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere form the temperate zone. Most places in the temperate zone experience four distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. There are two frigid zones on the earth. The frigid zone in the northern hemisphere lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole. The frigid zone in the southern hemisphere lies between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole. The climate in a frigid zone remains extremely cold throughout the year. Now, words to know, we are going to learn here. Zone means area or region, distinct, clearly separate and different. Lush, thick, evergreen, trees that retains green leaves throughout the year. Deciduous, now here you see, zone, area or region, distinct, clearly separate and different. Lush, thick, evergreen, trees that retains green leaves throughout the year. Deciduous, trees that lose their leaves in the dry season. Coniferous, conical trees found in the mountains. So we have learnt a lot about this chapter, right? I hope you all have enjoyed the reading and we have done this chapter, right? Again, I will bring for you tomorrow a different chapter. Hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.